Okay, so we're going to talk about researching for the trends paper using the University of Minnesota Library. And I know some of you are familiar with the University of Minnesota Library, but for this paper, you need 10 academic sources. So you get no online sources. So you should have all of them from the U of M libraries. So where do we start? Let's pretend that social media is my trend. And the very first place that I would recommend you start is you go to databases A through Z, and then you click on C, scroll down to when we get to the CQs, and I passed it. Okay, CQ Researcher. So let's start there. And up here, I'll just type in my trend. I would probably narrow it down to some different keywords like I'll talk to you about in class. But okay, so this is like social media. I'm going to go to, this looks interesting, social media explosion. So I click on the article and it looks like a pretty good article that I could probably use talking about, this is maybe proof of trend or cause of trend. That's very interesting. And if I go up here to Cite Now, hold on one second. If I cite now, I can go to MLA, and that's what I want, of course, is MLA. So this is my MLA citation. Like, that's really nice. All I need to do is add the access dates. So that's a great place to start. So I'm just going to write that down as a possible source for me. And then let's go back here. So if I didn't want to, let's say on CQ Researcher, I find 4 or 5 good sources. That's a great place to start. I would definitely recommend starting there. And then if I go back to my library, you all know Academic Search Premier. That's a really good place to go. So I'd click on that. And maybe I want to do social media and mental health, okay, because I'm looking for the effects. When you search on Academic Search Premier, I've told you this before, be sure that you are limiting your results to full text only. You don't want just some summary of some article. You want the whole article, so limit it to full text. And then go ahead and run the search. And okay, looking here, let's say I like see if there's any articles that I like. Okay, maybe this is interesting. I don't know. Maybe I would do something with this. So I would go to my PDF full text and take a look at the whole article. And you don't want to take your information from the abstract. You want to take it from the actual article. And then if I want to cite it, let's see here. One of these buttons is the citation. I just don't remember which one. But there are different options, of course, here on the side. I think you can email this to yourself, which is what I would probably do. This would be if you wanted to export it, but we don't necessarily want to do that. If we throw it on the Google Drive, you can sign into EBSCO, which I'm not also going to do. But as all of you know, like, you can automatically cite these. It's pretty simple. So Academic Search Premier is, there's the cite button, is a really nice tool that you've probably used a lot in the past. Something else that you guys could do, depending on your topic, JSTOR is a nice place to go. And then I would really recommend, if you need help, like, do an online consultation and talk to a librarian. If you're needing proof of your trend or cause of your trend, that is a really nice place to go, and those people are pretty helpful. So that's something that you can use as a resource. CQ Researcher, start there. Academic Search Premier, That would be my second choice. Google Scholar is good, but sometimes Google Scholar will only have books for you. JSTOR is a good place to be. And then in your databases, as I've shown you before, if you have something that is more like science-based, you could probably go in the S's and look at like Science Direct. Okay, so maybe I could find something there. One thing that the librarians would help you do too, if you're doing this online consultation, is you could say, what database should I go to for my trend? And then they could, they have like thousands of databases, and they could direct you to one that would be helpful. So as you get started researching for your annotated bibliography, again, start with CQ Researcher, Academic Search Premier, use the online consultation. Bye.